Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you my go-to basic recipe for buttermilk biscuits. They are so delicious, incredibly addictive, but you know, it's something that you should definitely know how to make because it makes a great base for monkey bread, which I will share with you in a different episode, so stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a good one. So let's go over the ingredients to get started. You're going to need some self-rising flour, some buttermilk, really cold vegetable shortening and unsalted butter, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and a little bit of melted butter. Now you need to work quickly and you need to make sure your ingredients, your fat anyway, and your milk is very, very cold. Otherwise you're not going to get that flaky, buttermilk, biscuit that we all know and love. Now first thing you want to do is get your oven hot to 400, get that ready for you. Now I'm going to start with my self-rising flour, and I'm going to do this just in a bowl using my fingers, really, and this is really the best way to go about it. So I'm going to put in all of my dry ingredients and the two fats, the vegetable shortening and the butter, and now I'm going to just, using my index finger and my thumb, I'm just going to pinch this together until the butter and the shortening is pretty much mixed through the flour mixture. And you need to really use shortening for this, only because if you don't use shortening and you only use butter, you're going to get a very buttery flavor, which can be a great thing. I mean, why not? But you're not going to get the flaky texture that a biscuit should always have, because that's what the shortening provides. So you want to work this very quickly. It doesn't have to be, like this, perfect, but you just want to make sure the butter is somewhat mixed through. That looks perfect. So now I'm going to start adding in my buttermilk. I'm going to add this a little bit at a time, and I'm just going to use my one hand to kind of pull it together. Now, if you can't find buttermilk in your local supermarket, then check out my latest quick tip on how to make your very own buttermilk at home. I will show you, I do show you in that episode on how to make buttermilk in your very own kitchen using just two ingredients that you probably already have on hand. So go ahead and check that video out. In the meantime, I'm just going to finish adding my buttermilk and pulling this dough together. I have my dough just pretty much pulled together. Now I'm going to put it onto a floured surface, and I'm just going to knead this very quickly because I don't want the butter to get warm. Otherwise, it will defeat the purpose. So that looks about right. Okay, now these are biscuits, so they're not going to be, the most perfect thing of life, but you just want to make sure you have a little flour on hand, a rolling pin, and just start rolling these out. You want to have about a 1/2 inch thickness in your dough. And you can still see in here the little bits of butter and shortening. That's going to be so flaky. I'll show you, it makes the biggest difference. So just roll it out. That looks like it's about a 1/2 inch thick, right? Okay, now a little bit of flour on hand. Make sure your baking sheet is lined with parchment paper. I'm just going to dip my biscuit cutter right in, and you can always use your hand to kind of flatten it out if you think some pieces are bigger than others, and just cut them out. Now what's going to happen is, and I will show you, you should be able to get about 18 out of this dough. Now what we're going to do is, obviously not going to get 18 out of here, but once we're done cutting all of these out, we're going to regroup the dough and then roll it out again until you get 18 biscuits. So just put them right there. I have my 18 biscuits here. Now I'm only going to cook 2 just to show you what they're supposed to look like. Now I have a little bit of shortening left over. Just spreading that. You don't need to, but it gives a lovely, kind of like a dark base color to it, which I really like. Put your little biscuits there. Brush the tops with melted butter. Nothing wrong with that. Now I'm going to put these into the oven, 400 degrees, for about 20 minutes until they're lightly golden brown. Just took my biscuits out of the oven about 5 minutes ago, and look how cute they are. You see how they like puffed up because you got that shortening in there? Look at all the layers. Do you see that? Do you see the flakiness? That is a good biscuit. I know it. Scratch that. That is a great biscuit. I want to eat both of them. And I probably will. Because that's just how I roll. That's it. You saw how simple and easy they were to make. And guess what? With the leftovers, the ones I didn't bake, monkey bread. Coming soon, so you might want to check that out too. Well, I hope you've enjoyed spending time with me. To get this recipe and others, you know where to go. www.laurenkitchen.com. Bye-bye.